One thing to understand about Ben, the reason I really wanted to be here is Ben does the work himself. His team, they manage the properties, the hotels, the buildings they own, et cetera. They do the work. And he started off from the ground floor, as you talked about. But how did you grow from, I mean, specifically, your first deal to $500 million?
I mean, it's been over a 30-year period, okay? My first deal was literally a crack house. Crack house in downtown West Oakland. It was 27.5. Let me tell you, the way I got into real money for myself was they used to have a nickname for me around town in Oakland. They called me, "Here comes garbage to gold." Because I took everything nobody else wanted. I saw a vision there, okay? Plus I had the balls to go on those streets. I carried a gun. I mean, you know, I grew up in New York. I knew my way around. I knew the streets. I can relate to anybody.
Are you talking about Oakland, California?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Back in the 80s.
Oh yeah, back when it wasn't what it is today.
The murder capital.
Exactly.
All right, drugs were rampant. It was very bad. But the point is, you know, I don't know, you're too young to remember. We used to buy properties on the courthouse steps. When they went to foreclosure, we'd all stand around on the courthouse steps, all the guys in town, and we'd buy those properties and bid on them right there. Right there on the courthouse steps, we'd have an auction, and the highest bidder gets the property. I would buy all the properties nobody else wanted, all right? And then I'd take those properties and I'd fix them up, okay? You fix them up, you know, with a proper budget, and I'd rent them to the Section 8, through the Section 8 program. My money was guaranteed through the Housing Authority. And I improved the block. I raised values on it. I'm now taking a piece of shit that sat all boarded up, fixed it up, and now it has a real value because I'm renting it out for $1,200 a month.
Going back to the first property, where'd you get the money?
Okay, I had a reputation. I was known to be the guy to go to if you had a vacant apartment or a house or something in Oakland. The Housing Authority, I had such a reputation built up from managing property. The Housing Authority would tell people to go talk to me, landlords. Okay, landlords would come to me and I'd take their whatever property, tell them, okay, you gotta do this, that, and make it pass inspection. Then I'll go and I'll find you a tenant and we'll get it filled and you'll be sitting back with income now. So I got a reputation. The local hard money guy, his name was Rich Fishman, and he knew of me because I think he was a client of mine. I helped him with his properties, but he was a hard money guy. I told him, listen, I want to buy this property. He would loan me, he'd get me a loan from a D paper, you know, lender or somebody, or a C paper lender for about 80%, and then he'd loan me the other 20%, okay? And then I'd go in there, I'd probably scrape up my own money at the time, get some bums on the street, go to Home Depot, get the place fixed up, but do it right. And then as soon as I had that place rented, the same mortgage broker would go out and refinance it, get me back the money to pay him back, and give me back the money to fix up costs, and then pay off the first lender, and I have one loan for the whole place. Because now, the place had a value of having $1,200 a month. Well, now the place went from me buying it for $27.5 to probably worth at least $100 grand.
You know, you guys don't get to say you don't know that someone will do this because you're in the room with me. I own a licensed lender, and as Dom will tell you about tomorrow, you can go get a loan from a bank. Now listen, rates are a different world right now. Things are a little screwy, but you know, we got to get through this part of it, right? But hear what he said, right? He borrowed money from a bank. He borrowed the down payment. He probably borrowed a little bit of the fix-up cost. You fix it up, you got a broker, you refinance it, you paid off the first, you paid off the second, and now you got a property you're managing.
Cash flowing.
Cash flowing.
With no money invested. My whole goal in real estate was to buy an asset, improve it, value add, refinance it, because let's tell you, refi money is a non-taxable event.
Right on.
Okay? You can refinance something all you want, put that money in your pocket, and you ain't paid a dime of tax. You pay when you sell. And even then, I've done nothing but 1031s. So there's always, you know, something you can do to save from paying tax in real estate.
Understand that if you are in a high tax bracket, the depreciation from real estate protects a lot of that income. And what he's talking about doing when he exchanges a property is he takes his tax basis He buys another property, rolls it in within 18 months, and he doesn't have to pay any taxes on that property. Real estate, in your opinion, is it the last haven for taxes?
I mean, real estate is still a good way to earn income and grow your wealth without worrying about taxes, okay? If you do try to cash out, you will pay tax. I'm not gonna BS here. Oh, and by the way, the one thing you're not gonna get out of me is bullshit. Yes, I own and operate probably $500 million worth of real estate, but I owe the bank half, or a little less than half now, okay? The bank is really the reason why I've gotten where I'm at today. You gotta use the bank's money. I mean, I didn't have any, and
leverage is part of the real estate game. It's that makes the world go round, obviously.
Until somebody put Biden in office.
Yeah, that's right. Well, leverage can go the opposite way. I'm experiencing it right now. We own 4 hotels. We had SOFR plus a little bit. SOFRs went parabolic, but guess what I bought? I bought a rate cap. If it wasn't for that rate cap, I'd be dead, right? But it's still the rate cap's gonna run out eventually, and if you don't do something about it, So one thing I did myself when we bought a property here in Vegas is I went to my wife and said, we're gonna buy a property, we're gonna get a fixed rate, and you're never, ever gonna miss a payment, and you're never, ever, ever gonna refinance this property, because we got 2.85 on a jumbo mortgage for 30 years. So what's happening now is, why would we ever sell it? I mean, this is what you're kind of talking about. Those people who didn't get that fixed rate, talk about the next 12 to 18 months and what could go wrong here, because it looks like to me, you're gonna have a lot of commercial properties, a lot of stuff going upside down.
I track them, all right? I'm starting to see, anybody here ever heard of 10X? 10X, that's where everything goes to go bye-bye. It's going to auction, baby. We gotta get rid of it, all right? And I've seen 10X go from having hardly any listings to pages a mile long now. All right, the foreclosures are coming, the bankruptcies are coming, the shit's gonna hit the fan. And unfortunately, for some people, but for other people, like everyone here, that's your opportunity. Okay, that's when you gotta come in. It's just starting now. You're gonna see it in 24, but now's a good time to get off your ass, pardon my French. Is ass French?
It is French, ass is French.
And start looking. And when you find something you like, lowball the shit out of it. That's what you start doing now, okay? Because you're gonna see prices come down. They have to.
If someone here wants to be in real estate, let's say they got 10,000 to their name or 20,000 to their name. It's not a lot of dough, but enough dough that it matters to them. They want to buy a property. They want to get started. How do you suggest they get started?
All right, well, the first way to buy property, and there's always strings attached to everything, all right? But if you don't have a lot of cash, FHA. 3.5% down, you can go up to 4 units. But you have to intend to live there. You can have a roommate, nothing wrong with that. But you can go FHA with 3.5% down. And if you're really smart and you got a real estate license, like I tell the young folks to do, or anybody, you can buy your own property. The 3% commission will be the 3% down. You only got to come up with a 0.5% down.
There you go.
$500 on 100 grand.
What's the FHA limit though on those kind of loans?
Every area has limits. It's determined, I think, by the area, and you have to qualify. Okay, but if you find a 4-plex and 3 of the units are rented, that income goes towards qualifying for the loan.
There you go. So there's kind of a will, there's a way, right? There's a way to figure out how to do a deal, right?
Listen, if you go out there and you find a hot deal, there's plenty of money out there, okay? You go approach somebody like maybe a C-paper lender or a hard money guy. If he sees a lot of fat in that deal, he'll back you up. It's all about, how much risk they're putting in. Finding the deal is the whole key to real estate. You make your money the day you buy it, because you're buying it at a discount or you have the ability to value add. Everything I've done is either add value to the property, make improvements so I can increase the rent and the revenue, and also cut your expenses. It's all about the bottom line.
So what's your favorite kind of property? I know you own hotels.
Anything I can make money on. No, I'm just kidding. Seriously. I mean, we do a lot of hotels, but I don't get involved with the operation. Luckily, my sister-in-law, she stepped up in the family. I raised her like my daughter. She got her master's. She's dealing with hotels and, you know, the management of it. Hotels can be very, very profitable, but it's all about location. Real estate is just like everything else in this world. It's all about supply and demand. You want to have the supply where there's a demand. A lot of people are getting hurt on Airbnbs right now because there's too many of them. So, you know, you got to make sure you get in where you fit in.
So Ben, we talked about someone having 20,000, getting an FHA loan, etc. But I mean specifically
20,000 to buy 100 grand.
I know, but specifically, what's your favorite kind of property? Like the one you go, okay, these are the ones I love to do the best. I know you sold more than 90 million of properties to a very famous apartment owner.
Starwood Capital.
Yeah. If you guys don't know Barry Sternlick, he's very famous in the real estate business.
And he's not stupid either.
And he is not stupid.
He wouldn't have paid me 91 million to be exact if he wasn't getting his money's worth.
Right.
Okay, he's major. That Starwood's a big stock.
How many doors did you sell?
Honestly, I can't remember, but it was a combination of 4 properties, and it was affordable housing. Okay, I really enjoy affordable housing. Okay, there are some restrictions, but you're buying it cheaper, and if you operate it right, you're getting good working class people that are going to pay you a fair rent, and you just provide a decent place for them, and it works out great. You know, there's a big demand for affordable housing. Everybody knows that. I mean, that goes without saying. If you can buy something, you know, and turn it into decent apartments or fix up a dump, you'll always be able to fill it. Always. People are always going to need a place to sleep, and stores are always going to need shops. Do you know if you buy certain retail, it's based on a cap rate? You guys are smart. Everybody know what cap rate is?
Of course.
All right. Now, if you go buy a strip center and it's got a half a dozen mom and pops, maybe hair, nails, food, you know, necessity. I like to buy necessity real estate. Stuff Amazon can't come in and crush. Okay? You can't get a haircut or a sandwich on Amazon, at least not yet. So I buy these strip centers, and let's say there's 6 spaces. Let's say 2 are empty. I get those 2 for free. Why? Because you're buying on a cap rate. You're buying it based on the income that property produces. So all you got to do is get those spaces rented, maybe put a little lipstick on a pig, we'd say. You know, do whatever you got to do. Rent those spaces out, and now you could take a 6 cap. Am I saying that right?
Yep.
And turn it into an 8 or 9 cap, which could equal millions of dollars in value.
Put your hands together for Ben Mallah.